You ever meet someone who doesn't have to raise their voice, brag, or dominate the room, but somehow everyone listens when they speak? That's not luck. That's not power. That's presence. And presence is built on small, consistent habits. Habits that are polite but powerful. Today I want to share 5 polite habits that instantly make people take you seriously. Because real respect isn't forced. It's earned quietly, one action at a time. When someone speaks calmly, people listen differently. It's not just about what you're saying. It's about how your voice makes people feel when they hear you. A calm tone cuts through noise like a sharp blade through fog. It doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. When your energy stays steady, others feel safe around you. And when people feel safe, they listen. That's why speaking calmly isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you have nothing to prove. You're not trying to win the room, you're just being the room's anchor. The loudest voice isn't always the most powerful voice. Think about the people you respect most. They don't rush, they don't shout, and they don't fill every silence with noise. They let their words breathe. Because confidence isn't about having something to say every second. It's about being okay when silence speaks for you. When you speak calmly, you're showing emotional control. And control is what earns respect faster than any title, any outfit, or any introduction ever could. Calmness gives your words weight. The slower you go, the more people lean in. It's the same reason why a whisper can stop a room, while shouting just adds chaos. When you rush to explain, defend, or justify yourself, you sound uncertain. But when you take a breath before speaking, you signal certainty without saying a word. Calmness communicates that you know your truth, and you're not afraid to let others take a moment to process it. That's how leaders talk. Not louder, but clearer. Not faster, but firmer. Now, here's what most people miss. Being calm doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being measured. It means your emotions work for you, not against you. You can still be passionate, still be assertive, but it's a grounded assertiveness. The kind that says, I'm in control of myself no matter how you act. That's magnetic. Because in every conversation, there's always a silent test happening. Who's going to lose control first? The calm person wins that test every time. When you practice calm communication, you start noticing something powerful. You stop reacting and you start responding. That's where real influence lives. A calm tone turns conflict into conversation. It disarms people, lowers their defenses, and creates space for understanding instead of argument. Even when someone tries to provoke you, staying calm quietly communicates, "You can't move me." And that unspoken strength earns you the respect that loudness never could. So the next time you're in a heated discussion, a disagreement, or even a stressful meeting, focus less on what to say and more on how to say it. Keep your voice even. Breathe between sentences. Let your tone be your strength. Because the person who can stay calm in chaos isn't just respected, they're trusted. And trust is the foundation of influence. When your tone carries control, people start seeing you as someone worth following. That's how calmness, disguised as politeness, becomes power. Thank you is one of the most underrated power moves you can make. Most people say it out of habit, but few use it with intention. When used strategically, it does something subtle but powerful. It builds bridges without bending your boundaries. Saying thank you at the right time shows emotional intelligence. It tells people you notice effort, not just results. And the truth is, people remember how you make them feel far longer than what you make them think. Gratitude, when spoken with sincerity, instantly elevates your presence because it speaks of humility without lowering your authority. The right thank you can turn tension into respect. Imagine someone criticizing your work or questioning your idea. Most people defend themselves immediately, but a simple thank you for that feedback changes the tone completely. It disarms ego and shows emotional control. You're not agreeing, you're acknowledging. That's the difference. You maintain composure and confidence while keeping the conversation open. This small habit silently communicates strength. You're secure enough not to get defensive. You don't need to prove yourself. You're just grounded enough to appreciate input, even if it's uncomfortable. Saying thank you instead of sorry is another game changer. Most of us over-apologize without realizing it, and every sorry we don't need to say chips away at our confidence. Replace sorry I'm late with thank you for your patience. Replace sorry for bothering you with thank you for your time. Those tiny shifts reframe the interaction. They replace guilt with gratitude, and gratitude builds respect, while guilt invites pity. It's polite, but it's also poised. You're communicating appreciation while keeping your dignity intact. That's how you stand tall, even when you're being humble. A genuine thank you also makes you memorable. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen and valued. When you take a moment to express appreciation, whether it's to a coworker, a friend, or even a stranger, it sets you apart in a world full of people too busy to notice. But here's the key. It has to be real. Forced politeness feels fake. Authentic politeness feels effortless. So instead of throwing out a quick thanks, make it count. Look them in the eye, mean it. The sincerity behind your tone will carry more weight than 100 fancy words. And here's the beauty of it. When you start expressing gratitude intentionally, it not only earns you respect from others, it changes you. Gratitude keeps you grounded. It reminds you that no one owes you anything. It trains your ego to stay quiet and your perspective to stay wide. People respect those who stay grateful because it shows character. It shows you value effort, time, and humanity, not just outcomes. That quiet humility has a ripple effect. It makes people want to show up better around you. So the next time you want to command respect, remember that power doesn't always come from control or dominance. Sometimes it comes from simple, intentional politeness. Thank you isn't weakness, it's awareness. It's knowing that you can be kind without being walked on. It's showing appreciation without losing authority. And when you master that balance, you don't just earn respect, you inspire it. Because real power never needs to shout. It just says, thank you, and let silence do the rest. Eye contact is one of the simplest yet most powerful habits that instantly communicates confidence and earns respect. It's silent, but it speaks volumes. When you look someone in the eye while they're speaking, you're saying, I see you. I value this moment. It doesn't take words to show that you're present. Your eyes do that for you, and people feel it. They can sense when your attention is genuine, when your focus is steady, and when your presence isn't distracted by your phone, your thoughts, or your ego. Maintaining calm, steady eye contact says you belong in the room. It says you're not here to impress, you're here to connect. But here's what separates commanding eye contact from intimidating eye contact. Intention. You're not staring someone down to dominate them. You're engaging them to build trust. The goal isn't control, it's connection. There's a warmth behind respectful eye contact that makes people relax around you. They start to open up to mirror your calm energy. You lead the emotional tone of the conversation without saying a word, and the person who controls the tone controls the interaction. That's why eye contact isn't about power, it's about presence. Most people break eye contact too quickly because they're afraid of discomfort. They worry it'll feel awkward or confrontational. But confidence isn't about never feeling uncomfortable. It's about staying composed while you are. When you can hold eye contact long enough to show comfort in stillness, people sense emotional stability. It tells them, I'm grounded, I'm listening, and I'm not easily shaken. That steadiness earns respect far more than constant talking ever could. It shows that you don't chase validation, you create it through presence. On the other hand, avoiding eye contact sends the opposite message. It signals uncertainty, disinterest, or even insincerity. You could be saying all the right words, but if your eyes keep darting away, people won't believe your confidence. Respect isn't earned through what you say. It's earned through what people feel when you say it. Your eyes tell them whether you're sure of yourself or unsure of the moment. That's why leaders, negotiators, and communicators who understand the power of eye contact can influence a room without raising their voice. There's also a subtle balance to it. Too little eye contact weakens your presence. Too much can feel aggressive. The sweet spot lies in soft, intentional focus. When you're listening, keep your gaze gentle but steady. When you're speaking, hold it just long enough to make your point land, then briefly glance away before reconnecting. That rhythm mirrors confidence. It feels natural, controlled, and self-assured. You're signaling that you respect both your space and theirs. That's what real social intelligence looks like. Controlled engagement without performance. So, if you want to command respect instantly, start with your eyes. Train yourself to look people in the eye when you greet them, when you thank them, when you disagree with them. Let your eyes carry calm conviction, not arrogance. When your words and your gaze match, people don't just hear your message, they feel your presence. And that's the kind of quiet power that never needs to demand respect. It simply earns it. Because in every interaction, people don't remember everything you said, but they always remember how you looked at them when you said it. Respecting time is one of the most polite and powerful habits you can develop. Time is the one thing people can't get back, and when you honor it, both yours and theirs, you show integrity, discipline, and awareness. Showing up on time isn't just about punctuality. It's about character. It says, I value this moment. I value you. When you're late, dismissive, or distracted, it quietly communicates the opposite. You may not say it outright, but the message is clear. My time matters more than yours. Respecting time means you understand the invisible currency of life, attention, and you choose to spend it wisely. People who respect time move differently. They don't waste words, drag conversations, or overpromise. They understand that efficiency isn't cold, it's courteous. When you keep things concise, people listen more carefully because your words feel intentional. You're not filling silence with noise. You're making every second count. That's the kind of presence that earns quiet respect. In meetings, conversations, or daily interactions, the person who values time always stands out because their boundaries are clear. They know when to engage deeply and when to step away gracefully. There's also a deeper layer to time respect. It's not just about being punctual, it's about presence. Being mentally present when someone is talking is another form of valuing their time. You can show up physically, but still not be there. Checking your phone, glancing at the clock, or waiting for your turn to speak tells people you're not truly engaged. But when you give someone your full attention, even for a short moment, they feel seen and respected. That moment becomes meaningful because it's undivided, and that's what people remember, not how long you spent, but how present you were. Respecting your own time is equally important. You can't expect others to value your schedule if you don't value it first. That means saying no when you need to, setting boundaries when things drain you, and keeping your commitments when you make them. When you cancel casually, show up unprepared, or delay decisions, you weaken your reliability. But when you consistently do what you say you'll do, people start trusting your word. And trust is the foundation of respect. Respect for time at its core is respect for your word, because time and trust run on the same clock. Once lost, they're hard to earn back. Another layer of time respect is knowing when to stop talking. Politeness isn't just about saying the right thing. It's about knowing when enough has been said. Over-explaining or dragging a point often comes from insecurity. Confident people trust their message to stand on its own. They know when to pause, when to listen, and when to walk away. Leaving space in a conversation shows maturity. It gives others time to think and respond. You don't dominate their time. You share it. That's what separates good communicators from great ones. They understand that brevity with clarity is power. So when it comes to commanding respect, start by treating time as sacred, yours and everyone else's. Be the person who shows up when they say they will. Be the one who listens fully, speaks intentionally, and ends things gracefully. Because the truth is, how you treat time tells people everything about how you treat others. Respecting time is the most polite way to show leadership. It says, without a single word, that you're reliable, disciplined, and considerate. And in a world full of distractions, that quiet consistency is what people respect most. Standing firm while staying kind is one of the most difficult and most respected balances a person can master. It means you know how to hold your ground without losing your grace. You can disagree without being disrespectful. You can be strong without being harsh. It's not about being right all the time. It's about being rooted in who you are, even when things get tense. People often confuse kindness with weakness, but the truth is, kindness requires far more strength than aggression ever will. It takes real emotional control to stay kind when your ego wants to fight back. Standing firm doesn't mean raising your voice or proving your point louder than everyone else. It means communicating with clarity and calm certainty. When you know your values, you don't need to over-explain them. You don't need to justify your boundaries or beg for understanding. You simply state them with confidence and consistency. And when you do it kindly, you create an environment where respect naturally grows. Because people might not always agree with you, but they'll always remember how you handled disagreement, with composure, not confrontation. The most respected people are those who can correct without humiliating, who can stand their ground without making others feel small. They know that firmness is about self-respect, not control. It's about protecting your peace, not proving your power. When you stand firm, you're saying, I know my worth and I'm not going to compromise it. When you stay kind, you're saying, I also see your worth, even if we don't see things the same way. That dual awareness, respect for self and respect for others, is what separates the admired from the ignored. Kind firmness also builds credibility. When people see that you don't get easily shaken, they start trusting you. They come to you for guidance, not because you're perfect, but because you're steady. You handle pressure without panic. You hold your boundaries without bitterness. That's what real strength looks like, measured and mindful. And the beauty of it is that it disarms negativity. Kindness takes the sting out of resistance. When you respond to hostility with composure, you take away its power. People who expected a fight end up listening instead. That's influence without aggression. This habit also creates emotional safety for others. When you're firm but kind, people know where they stand with you. They don't have to guess your intentions or tiptoe around your mood. You're consistent. You lead with respect even when you disagree. And that steadiness earns you something rare, loyal respect, not just polite compliance. Because kindness isn't softness, it's strategy. It invites cooperation instead of resistance. It makes people want to work with you, not against you. The strongest leaders, communicators, and friends are the ones who can stand firm and stay kind at the same time. So if you want to command respect without demanding it, learn to live in that balance. Don't let the world push you into being cold to be strong, or into being agreeable to be liked. Strength without kindness hardens people. Kindness without strength weakens people.